Welcome to Gunz Bunz, a podcast that celebrates strong, successful women. Please like and subscribe to our Gunz and Rollz fitness channel to see more episodes like this one. Today I would like to welcome my friend and guest, Mia Cason. Hi, Mia.
Hello.
Mia is newly married as of November. She is a dog mom and a proud radiologic technologist at Atrium Carolinas Medical Center, Charlotte's Level 1 Trauma Center. With degrees in general studies, liberal arts, general sciences, and radiologic sciences, she is not only a healthcare professional, but a lifelong learner. Born in Tennessee and raised in Kansas, she grew up on the soccer field, playing competitively at a high level for over 16 years. That athletic spirit has stuck with her as she is now a certified personal trainer. She trains in MMA, kickboxing, and is a blue belt in Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. When she is not in the gym training, you will find her playing pickleball, hiking, crafting, watching sports, or just soaking up time with her family, friends, and dogs. Mia is passionate about helping others and is a firm believer that fitness is freedom and recognizes the importance of surrounding yourself with people who challenge you to be better for yourself and everyone else around you. Welcome, Mia. One more time. How's it going?
It's good.
I'm happy you're here today.
Yeah.
So for today, I kind of, shared that background about you, but I would love to hear a little bit more. So would you maybe just start a little bit about where you grew up, how you grew up? I think you're the first person I've met from Kansas. So tell us a little bit about your background.
Yeah, so I was born in Tennessee. My parents are from the Gatlinburg area. So born there, and then we lived in Kentucky for a little bit, and then moved to Kansas when my dad went to medical school.
Okay.
So I want to say I was 4 maybe when we moved to Kansas. So really growing up, Kansas was the only place I grew up.
Okay.
No, I'm not a Kansas City Chiefs fan, so just got to set the record straight on that one. No, but I loved it. It was a great place to grow up. I played soccer my whole life there. Definitely, that was all my social life was on the soccer field. That was what I did on the weekends, played all year round, and then went and played in college. And then 2019... Avery and Ashley had been here for a while, and then they told my parents that they were having their first baby, and that was the first grandbaby. So my parents went down and came here, and then I was like, well, there goes my whole family.
I might as well go.
Might as well come with. No, but I'm definitely really thankful. I've loved it here. It was a kind of a weird time to move here just because it was 2019 and then boom, pandemic hits.
Wow.
So I'm trying to learn the area and then it gets shut down.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
So that was definitely a challenge, but
awesome.
It all worked out.
Well, I don't think I realized that was seriously like not that long ago. Because I think we joined the Triumph Fight Academy, the gym that Avery owns. So Avery being Mia's brother. But we started, I think, in January of 21. So wow. Like you were still kind of new to Charlotte. I don't think I put that together.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. So then you had already graduated college when you moved here?
So I'd finished a couple of the degrees there and then went for x-ray school here.
Okay.
So went back. So it was actually during the pandemic is when I got my personal training license. Long little backstory. So after college got done, once I stopped playing, it was a really hard transition going from being an athlete my whole life and going and like not having to worry about working out and like what you're eating because you're running around so much.
Yeah.
There's just something you never worried about. It was you either had a coach telling you exactly what to do, and then I found myself gaining a bunch of weight once we got here, and just gradually over time after I stopped playing, and then I kind of went down a little hill with just bad mental health and bad mental space. I felt like I lost my identity a little bit.
Yeah.
So definitely it was something sparked. It was when I went to the doctor, and for some reason, like seeing my weight on paper, I was like, okay. I was like, we got to do something here. And then I was at a point where I was like, where do I start? I was like, I don't have a coach anymore to go to. I don't have a strength and conditioning coach. I don't have somebody telling me what to do. It was almost like this scary freedom. So then I started really jumping into fitness during the pandemic. Lost, I want to say like 40 pounds, 40, 45 pounds-ish. And then I was like, I know if I'm going through this, I want to help somebody else that's also going through it. And especially a lot of people joked around like COVID-20. Everybody was gaining weight. Everybody was staying home. So it definitely unlocked a passion as I was going on my own journey, being able to want to give that back, the knowledge that I was learning at the time, and be able to kind of relay that to clients.
Awesome. So if I'm following this correctly, you lost the weight first, then did your certification, which is awesome because like you know what it takes to after you've gone through something like that and you've had to really dig deep and do it for yourself.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Because I did have some people, like some clients that didn't know the backstory, and they're like, well, you work out for a living.
Yeah.
So you get to do this all the time. So it was nice being able to be like, no, like I've gone through this myself. I'm not going to lie to you. I know it sucks. I know this is hard. The things I'm asking you to do is not easy. If it was easy, everybody would do it. So it was cool having that relationship and almost just like that rapport of being able to say I went through it too, and we're going to go through it together.
Yeah.
So,
absolutely. So during this time, did you already know your husband at this point during COVID, or?
So so that's a funny story. So I had started the gym. We actually went on a girls' night. It was Sam's, was it her 21st birthday? We all went out and got drinks, and Stephanie had known Dallas through Chris because they were my husband's a big car guy, and Chris and him knew each other through the car community. So after a few drinks, she was telling me about him, so he took it upon us to get out Facebook, and Facebook stalked him a little bit. I had the liquid courage to message him at the moment. I'm trying to think. I think it was something to the lines of, "Hey, I know Stephanie and Chris. They said I should message you. Here's my number." Next morning, I wake up and there's a message back, and it was a, "Oh shit" moment. I was like, this could, I don't know. So finding somewhere to meet was really hard because everything was shut down.
Yeah.
So I was like, how do I meet this person? I was like, we go on a blind date.
Yeah.
Maybe. I was like, because I'm not just going to go to his house. Like,
yeah.
That's a big first step. So we found this one brewery in Charlotte that was open. And
it was outside probably. Like.
Yeah, they had like the patio doors so they could get around it. But it was funny because I walked in, he was already there, and I'm like looking around, thinking I got stood up at one point because at that point he was always wearing a hat, and then he had a mask, so I can only see eyeballs, and I'm like, I was like, the waitress was like, "Hey, like, are you meeting somebody?" And I was like, "I think so. I don't know." But yeah, so then I feel like it kind of pushed our relationship quicker, just because you have just close, intimate time together.
Yeah.
And, I mean, because
the world's shut down.
Yeah, you really get to know somebody then. And then it was really exciting, like year and a half, almost 2 years. it was such a big deal in our relationship to go to the movies together. I was like, we get to be a real couple.
I know, yeah.
And it was like cool to finally be able to experience these things.
Yeah.
So
wow.
it was an interesting time to meet somebody, and definitely didn't think I would find my husband
in that moment. Yeah.
But hey, it worked out.
That's awesome. Like, this is the first story I think I've heard where, like, here you are at the start of like your life, right? Mm-hmm. Like, you're out of college and like having to go through like what you went through, like you're saying, like you're transitioning from being an athlete to now you're on your own, and okay, now I'm in this big world and I'm supposed to get a job and I'm supposed to do all these things, and then to have a pandemic like that, that's so infuriating that you were like having to be stuck at home.
It was a weird time.
But I think everything happens for a reason, and look, you mean you ended up finding the love of your life, so that's awesome.
And it was definitely weird because like South Carolina and North Carolina handled the pandemic very differently. Mm-hmm. So when he would come over to my side, he was like, "Did COVID happen here?" He's like, "You guys don't have masks, like all this stuff," and I was like, we don't care here. It's fine. This is South Carolina.
No, right? That's when we found Triumph. It was kind of the same idea. Like, I mean, this was later, like I said, in 21, but like it was still kind of on the cusp of like people didn't know, like, are we still doing masks? Are we not?
I mean, we had a lot of people come to us that their gym was shut down in North Carolina, and I mean, thankfully, a lot of those people stayed. Mm-hmm. But that was a big deal to have your outlet and your passion, your hobby, just taken away.
Yeah.
And it was honestly, it was scary to see my brother go through that. Yeah. Because I'm like, that's his livelihood. Right. I'm like, this is how he feeds his kids. I'm like, that's a scary thing that you don't realize, I think, a lot of times, like how much work goes into like these small businesses, and then something like that happens, and it's crazy.
Yeah. And so Kevin, my husband, was at another gym in Fort Mill, and he kind of felt the same way when COVID started. It was kind of like, are we still at the gym? Like, are we still paying a monthly membership? I feel bad. I don't want to pull from that, but at the same time, it's like a whole dilemma, right? You don't know what to do in that moment. But then, luckily, he found someone that also like knew about Triumph, and then that's how we ended up there. But so then, would you say, I know, I love it. So did you start in 2020 then at Triumph, like officially, like going as a member, or like or training there? I mean,
started pretty much when I started I moved here. Awesome. And it's actually funny because I came here for an interview for for my program. I want to say a year before, and this is when Avery was in his first space, and he was like, "Come to jiu-jitsu class," and I was like, "What? I know nothing. I know nothing about it." I was like, I mean, from the Midwest, wrestling's huge. Yeah, I was like, that's all. That's all I know. Yeah, and I show up and do one class, and I had no idea what happened. It was with Long. Okay. Okay. Which, I mean, I'm tall, but like Long comes up to like my shoulder, and here I am having this little man throwing me around all over the place, and I was like, I don't know what just happened. And then fast forward about a year and a half later, when I moved down there, I didn't start doing jiu-jitsu first. It was actually kickboxing first. Oh, okay. I think I was just more intrigued with kickboxing first. Just
well, I think it's more well known too.
Yeah,
right.
I don't know if it was just more of a. Me and my brother used to fight all the time, and I was like, okay, that's normal. But I definitely fell in love with kickboxing, and I didn't do jiu-jitsu. I actually lost a bet. So that's why I went to my first jiu-jitsu class. Oh, that's officially. We were at Stephanie's house during like a UFC fight night, just hanging out, and Sam was like, "Hey, who do you think is gonna win this fight?" And I was like, I can't remember who was fighting, but I lost, and she was like, "Well, you gotta go jiu-jitsu one day then." And I was like, "Okay, fine." And Avery was like, "If you're gonna do it, give me 6 months." He was like, really try it for 6 months, and if you hate it, that's fine. But really, you have to give it a chance. And I think that's definitely really accurate. I think it's hard to definitely not like point class. You don't like you're lost your first class. I mean, heck, I'm still lost half the time. Me too. But that 6 months that he really like emphasized, I think did justice, because it once that like 4-month mark, I was like, okay, I'm definitely not good, but slowly starting to figure it out a little bit.
Remembering things.
Right. It's not so foreign, and it's I'm like, what are these weird terms? Like half in Japanese, half in Portuguese. I was like, I don't know what's going on. But definitely it was a slow burn love.
But you still do a lot of the kickboxing. How often do you train, and how do you manage the couple of disciplines?
To be honest, it's hard. It is hard because I kind of joke around. I'm like, it's like my divorced parents. That's what I call. So I'm like 50-50 split custody. But I try to balance out the both. Sometimes if I know I'm like signed up for a jiu-jitsu competition, I'll be focused more on grappling and kind of switch back after. If I have nothing planned, I like to split it almost evenly. Lately, I've definitely been doing jiu-jitsu more. I think it was more so not wanting to get punched in the face before my wedding. I was like, okay, we're going to put a little pause on kickboxing. I was like, can't be missing teeth or black eye.
So I want to come back to some goals that I've heard you speak about in regard to MMA, also, what I know about jiu-jitsu, something coming up. So let's head on over to that. And then I do also want to hit on, the wedding, because that's such a new development in your life, right? You've hit on a couple of points, and I'm like, too many things to talk about. But let's go back to the kickboxing piece. I did want to add on that every time I see you go over there, I'm like, no, Mia, come to the BJJ side. I know. I'm really so sad, but it is hard, right, to balance the two.
I wish I could just do it all.
And they're at the same time. Yeah. So I know before your wedding, you had talked about doing like maybe a fight, right? And then we had a little traumatic experience, right? But you've bounced back. And so tell us a little bit, what are some goals? Do you still think, like, do you see an MMA fight maybe in your future, or is that kind of changed?
It definitely has not changed. That is still the goal, especially for start popping out some babies. I was like, I keep telling my husband, I'm like, I gotta get it out of my system. Like, let me get it out, and then I'll settle down and be domesticated. But yeah, that's definitely still the goal. Getting still adjusted with moving, and me and my husband definitely did, I guess you would call like the more old school way, and we didn't live together until we got married. So and that now is very uncommon. So we're still figuring out what does our everyday life look like. And now that I'm living further, like from the gym, just like we're just everyday schedule. So just still kind of trying to balance it all, trying to figure out like, okay, now I have to feed both of us. Now we have to do like just the everyday life things that you never.
I guess.
Like, I used to just be like, okay, like, what am I gonna eat? All right, that's it. Like,
I guess I did. Oh my goodness, Mia, you're just shocking me. I'm so you're.
No, I mean it's.
I've been married for how long? 20. I mean, I've known Kevin for 24 years, 25 almost in August, and wow, I keep forgetting this. It's so different from what I'm used to.
And it was interesting, because that was not the norm. Like, I definitely had some people like, you're gonna marry this man, you're gonna live with him, and. At first, I will say I definitely was a little hesitant, like, okay, should we live together? Just because I have lived with an ex before, and he never had lived with any girl before. But I remember we had a conversation about it, and something that he had said that like really stuck with me. He was like, if I'm going to dedicate my life to you and devote my life to you, little things like, do you leave the toothpaste cap off?
Yeah.
Like the stuff like that. He's like, that stuff doesn't matter. And he was like, if I know I'm going to marry you, I don't care about messy stuff. Like we'll get through that. So that was
That's a good perspective.
yeah, and it's been great. Like
Awesome.
it's almost, I want to say like it's easier because we had to carve out so much time just to talk to each other.
Yeah.
Like everyday conversations, like coming home, be like, hey, how's your day? Blah, blah, blah. That used to be a phone call that I had to step away from doing things. So it's nice just having him there.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm just still like in that.
Oh, you're still in that little honeymoon phase. I love it. I love it. So the goal is still there, but like it's just, you're at a different point in your life now, so that maybe has
definitely.
taken a back burner.
Like it to be sooner.
Yeah. And then you do have a tournament coming up that you signed up for.
Couple weeks, knocking
That's
the
awesome.
comp rust off a little bit. Yep, the last competition I signed up for, I broke my arm the Monday before the competition, so
that's how that went down. That's
not
right.
fun.
I do remember. Okay, yes. And I wasn't there that night, but I do remember Kevin telling me about that. And that, oh my gosh, that was difficult.
Yeah, that was not fun.
Aw. But we're back to normal now. Everything's good.
It tweaked how I play my game.
Yeah.
There's certain things that I don't do as much now. Not in a bad way, just I'm more aware. And it's interesting because it's just like, you'll hear people, they're like, that shouldn't have happened at practice, blah, blah, blah. And it was like, what happened was a very freak accident. Like the person I was going with, I know for certain they would never intentionally try to hurt me. Like that's not even a question. It was just a weird fluke and a loud pop later, and it was weird. It was something I had never felt before.
In all your years of playing soccer, you've never like broken?
No, concussions were a big thing. So I was a goalkeeper. So it was just like little tweaks here and there, and like twisted ankle. But I was lucky and didn't have any super like major injuries. So I think that was the first time like I had like a legit like sports injury, and I was like, how is this mentally? It affected me more than physically. Because I definitely, the first practice back, I was like, okay. Like, I was terrified. I was like, I'm not moving that arm. And definitely babied it a little bit. But yeah, we're back to normal.
Has it affected like your lifting or
yes,
anything along those lines?
It's weird. I thought, so what had happened was it's an avulsion fracture at the UCL insertion. So it's like the ligament like just pulled off a piece of bone with it, and had a little tear with that. So I thought it was going to be more extension, so I was worried about kickboxing. I was like, how am I going to be able to throw a punch? But it's actually like the flexion motion, so I can't, like, framing is a little weird now, and certain lifts, I notice it. I'm just not a pain, but it's stiff. But nothing.
Is there maybe a lesson learned or a message you would want to pass on to someone who maybe is going through an injury or going through a difficult time like that, or maybe related to a sport or something? Is there advice you would give them, or a lesson learned, or a message or something like that you would maybe pass on to them, especially as a college athlete too? Like, you've been an athlete your whole life, so what would you say to that person?
My biggest thing is keep showing up, even if you can't participate. It was good for me to go and just watch class, just go see people, because I think it took a toll on my mental health more than physical. It definitely was hard not seeing your support group all the time and not having your outlet. And so I would just tell people, keep showing up. Still surround yourself with people that are still your teammates. Just because you're injured doesn't make them not your teammates. And still, like, don't isolate yourself, because I feel like when you get an injury, it can almost feel very lonely. So just making sure you have your core people still close.
Yeah.
And so you're not feeling like, especially jiu-jitsu, you can still learn a lot just by watching.
So one of the things in your opening statement, you mentioned about fitness being freedom and just like surrounding yourself with people that also challenge you. And so could you talk a little bit more about that? Like, and I think we kind of hit that a little bit here too, about having that support group, right? So tell us a little bit more about like why that's important to you, and like who's your circle of influence, and who are those people that you would kind of surround yourself with?
Yeah, I remember when I first started training, it was I was like, what is almost like my why? What's my big thing I want to pass on to people? And I just kept going back to, you always hear like, oh, I want financial freedom, blah, blah, blah. And I never hear, oh, I want like fitness freedom. And it's like, I don't want to ever feel like I'm a prisoner in my body. I don't want it to ever be like, oh, I can't go play with my nephews right now because I can't, I'm not up to it.
Right.
I don't ever want to feel like I'm so isolated and I can't do something that should be like what some people would think is simple. Like, oh, I have to take the elevator. You're forcing yourself to have to do certain things. You're restricting yourself, and you are becoming a prisoner in your own body. So it, like, the little things of being able to jump out of a chair easily, I think we take for granted a lot. So having that freeing aspect of keeping your body moving in everyday movements, functional movements, and being able to do this for, I want to be able to move for a long time, not just for a little bit. I want to be able to be that little meatball running down the road. I mean, that's the biggest thing. And I see it all the time at work. That's awesome. I will see these older ladies, and you can tell the people that have moved and never stopped moving, and they look great. And so that's my biggest thing, is just keep moving. Don't be a prisoner in your own body.
Right. I love that. I definitely feel that way too now. The older I'm getting, it's more so not just about the vanity of looking a certain way, but also just the way you feel. And again, my journey has ebbed and flowed as well. I mean, I would say like the most weight I ever gained was because I had kids, and it was after having kids. And I actually was just looking at a picture the other day, and I was just like baffled by like how big I got after having Jacob. And I never want to get back to that. It's almost a borderline obsession sometimes, I feel, just because it's just a constant reminder to myself that I never want to feel the way I felt, where I would hide myself in my clothes or what I was wearing. That was another whole thing in this picture. I was showing someone the other day. I was like, what was I wearing? And it was, but I don't, going back to what you're saying, like, I don't ever want to get to that point where I feel like that again, or I'm ashamed of how I look. And, and I want to do better with my health so that I can now that I do jiu-jitsu, I don't want to back off on that. I want to make sure I'm healthy and lifting, and because it'll also improve my jiu-jitsu game, right? So there's
I mean, it is little things like
so
that.
true.
Like, I noticed that there's not a lot of pictures from that time. For a reason. I did not want to be in any pictures. Like, there's some family photos that like my mom snapped, but I was like, I avoided the camera.
Right.
And just restricting that so much, and you don't realize it until you look back and you're like, oh my gosh, like I caught myself, I feel like I felt so trapped inside. I was starting to lash out it was almost like I was very angry all the time. I know it wasn't because of anybody else but me.
No, right.
It was my internal, and then just it coming out on the outside. And
yeah. And it's like when you, and that can permeate into other areas of your life too, right?
Oh,
Like
yeah.
if you feel good, then it is going to kind of bleed over into other areas. And if you feel bad, it's going to also do the same thing. So, the older I get, I just want to put more of an emphasis on it. Again, not for the vanity reason, but more so for the health behind it. And I keep telling myself too, like retraining my brain and what I'm eating. And I keep going back to that, like that adage that kind of says like eat to live, don't live to eat, or like, you know, like you kind of have to think about it that way. Like, cause I think so many times I associate eating with boredom, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm bored. What is there to eat, right?
Yeah. No, that's what I'm a grazer. Especially when I was in school, I'm like a snack studier.
Mm-hmm.
So just knowing those little things about yourself, and it's like every social event is around food, it seems like. So you have to just know those little markers. And
I know at work, like teacher world, that's how they show our appreciation. And we have voiced as teachers, we love food, we love to, or like coffee, or like you know, whatever we can get is a treat when you're at work, right? But it's always things that are like terrible for you, right? And I'm to that point where I'm kind of like, especially right now specifically, I'm like, I'm saying no, and I'm going to stick to that. And it makes
protein powder,
right. It makes me. I know. I know, and I have found I just have to be prepared with what I do want to eat, so that I'm not missing out or feel like I'm missing out.
Yeah.
But you're so right. It's like everything surrounds food in this culture anymore. It's like, I don't like it. All right. So, let's jump over to the new married life. I know you have spoken a little bit about that, but you guys got married in November. I was there. So beautiful. Oh my goodness, so beautiful. But yeah, and you kind of spoke a little bit about like, you know, now you're getting adjusted to married life. You guys took an excellent, like fantastic honeymoon. Where did you guys go for your honeymoon?
We went to Thailand.
Oh my goodness. Do you want to speak about that at all, or any amazing adventures?
I mean, it was breathtaking. That was the first time I've ever like really gone out of the country. Like we've gone like on a cruise and like Mexico. Yeah. But that was, first of all, a very long flight. That was rough. I think it was like 27 hours on the plane. It was a lot.
Oh my word.
So we were there for like 16 days, which you have to be with that long of a flight. And then they're 12 hours ahead.
Yeah.
So flipping your AM and PM, essentially. I definitely had to silence some group chats because it was a lot going on. But it made me, I remember like looking out into one of the views and like when the sun sets, and I was like, this is just, God is real. He is so present. Like in that moment, it was such a, like, you can't explain how beautiful this is without thanking God. Mm-hmm. And it was so cool to meet the Thai people, and they're amazing. They're super sweet, respectful. Their food's amazing. Definitely dove deep into that. Enjoyed myself a lot. But it was funny though, because I actually caught myself thinking about you guys when, like, our group of girls, we went to this elephant sanctuary, and they were talking about how they, like, when the elephants have a baby, all the women in their little like pack like kind of raise the baby together. So like the man goes and lives his best life, just does his thing. But it was like, I was thinking about like how cool is it to kind of like think like, I know like when I have kids, if I can call you and ask you a question. Like it's so cool to have friends at so many different ages. And like outside jiu-jitsu, like Brooklyn, I'm like, I'm not hanging out with 18.
No.
Or like, I'm not like, there's so many, like our age range is so big, and like everybody's gone through so many different life events. Yeah. And I was like, all these elephants are like this little tribe and like raising. And I was like, this reminds me of my girls at home.
Oh, that's awesome.
So it was really, I don't know, it was a cool like little reflection moment.
You got to actually be like up close and personal too with them, right?
Yes.
What did you get?
We got to feed them, bathe them, go on a hike with them.
Aw.
Do like a little mud bath. So that was fun. They're just like big dogs.
Aw. I know, they seem gentle. They're so
Yeah,
like
they
big,
were
but yeah.
super sweet. One did that like stood up really quick in the water, and I was like, it was a close call. My foot was like, huh. But then I was also like, if I was gonna break my foot, that'd be kind of a cool story.
Aw. And you guys were there for about 3 weeks?
About 2.5 weeks.
Okay, awesome. Yeah. Did you go back then?
I would. I see. I don't know. It's like I want to explore more,
Mhm.
but if that wasn't a factor, I would 100% go back.
Yeah.
It was cool because we kind of broke it up between like the islands and the ocean, and then like more of a mountain area, and then we went to Bangkok to finish it out. So we saw the city life.
Mhm.
So it was really cool to see all the different cultures. It's
Mhm.
very hot.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it was really cool.
Awesome. You didn't go to like any like Muay Thai gyms?
Yes, we did.
You did?
Well, we didn't. I
Okay.
didn't go to a gym, but we went to a Muay Thai fight.
Oh, cool.
Which was really cool to see. Like they do like their traditional dances before the fight, so
Mhm.
it was really cool to like immerse yourself into the culture.
Yeah.
And really get a deep dive and appreciation of the sport.
Nice.
So it made me like ready to come home, and I was like, I just want to go train like this again.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, and now you've been back, and it's been, I mean, I feel like it's been great. Awesome.
Yeah.
She kicks my butt all the time. All right. So we've talked a little bit about the athletics. We've talked a little bit about like, the new married life. Would you like to tell us about a day in the life of your job? So,
Yeah.
I mean, this is like radiologic technologist. Do you say radiology?
It's a big name.
Yeah, I was like, holy cow, it sounds so
just
professional.
X-ray tech.
X-ray tech. All right, so tell us about that if you can, as much as you can, I guess.
Absolutely. So I work at the Level 1 Trauma Center for our regional area. And gosh, a day in life, anything can happen. So I mean, to not like get on my soapbox about it too much, but to share some love for my X-ray techs. I mean, we're in traumas in the operating room and working in the ICU. We're everywhere. I think that they're definitely a little underappreciated, appreciated a little bit. And I don't know, you wear scrubs in the hospital, everybody thinks you're a nurse, which I mean, it's fine, but
Yeah.
It's hard to explain of it making sense without it being just chaos.
Yeah.
But it's controlled chaos. Like all of because I didn't do like any of my schooling and stuff. I came from an outside hospital, and then I was a little nervous, like being a new grad, going to the sickest of the sick patients, the most injured patients, like being on the receiving side of people being flown in. That was a scary moment. But definitely the coworkers and the team that I have embraced me and helped have helped my career grow and grow as a tech. But day in the life, I mean, anything can happen.
Yeah. So you see some pretty scary things too.
Yeah, there's definitely like things I won't do now.
Yeah, because you hear about
Yeah, and it's like I mean, like I don't know if whenever I have kids, I don't know if I'll have a trampoline or like, so it does make you. It makes you think about things that it makes you scared of things that you weren't scared of before. But I'm also I like to take the good and the bad. And I am it makes you very grateful when you walk in, especially when you see like people my age, and I'm like, that could be me.
Yeah.
So I love that aspect of my job, that it's extremely humbling. That trauma can happen to anybody, and nobody's immune to it.
Right.
You can be driving to work, something happens, and that is a very humbling reminder every day that I go in. And I like to not take that lightly, and I like to take a second and be grateful that, one, none of my family members are there.
Yeah.
None of my friends. Like, that's why I always joke around and, like, to my friends, I'm like, nobody come visit me at work.
Yeah.
I don't want to see anybody, please. But yeah, but it definitely, it's weird knowing that, like, an everyday work life, like a work day, is somebody's worst day of their life.
Right, yeah.
It's a very vulnerable, like, intimate, weird, like, I don't know, it's hard to describe. It's like, I know I was a part of their worst day.
Yeah.
But that also gives me motivation of, in their worst time, what can I do to either make it better, or even just talking to the family member, just being somebody to talk to, or like it's the small things, like giving a hug to somebody, like little things like that, that I think just like little everyday life things just get taken for granted all the time.
What made you want to get into that? I know your parents are both doctors. Like, what made you choose the medical field?
So my parents had me and my brother when they were young, and then they were both in medical school basically when me and Avery were growing up. So I gotta see, like, firsthand what it takes to be a doctor, and it was a hard pass. I mean, it's a lot of school. I mean, it's a lot. But I knew I loved helping people. That's always been a huge passion of mine. I wasn't super interested in nursing just for the aspect of being restricted kind of to one area. Like, I didn't want to always be in the emergency room or always want to be on this floor. I love that bouncing around that you get with imaging, because, like, imaging's everywhere. Yeah. Like, you can't place a line without having to do an x-ray. I mean, there's so many cool little things that we get to see, and get to be, I think, well-rounded and see so many different parts of the hospital. Yeah. And work with a lot of different teams. So I love that about radiology, and it's like, I love the skeletal system. So where's it? Like, I love bones, but like, that science aspect of it, like, I've always just loved anatomy, and I remember when I broke my wrist my senior year, I looked at one of the girls and I was like, "You like what you do?" And she was like, "Yeah, it's great." And then I finally looked into it, and the rest is history.
So it said that, according to your bio, you said you have degrees in general studies, liberal arts, general sciences, and radiologic sciences. So is that multiple degrees then?
Yeah.
How does that all work?
That was a soccer scholarship that I didn't know what I wanted to do yet.
Yeah.
So that was me just taking classes. And I knew I wanted to do something healthcare. Originally, I jumped around a bunch, because at one point I wanted to be a teacher, and then I wanted to be a paramedic, and then it just kept shifting.
So you do like to help people. Those are all gigs that are like, helping people. I love it.
So once I found X-ray and, like, really looked into it, I was like, this is it. This is my home. Like, it was just like a click moment. Yeah. So, but you had to, so you have your bachelor's, is it a bachelor's? Is it a... So I was just at a community college for playing soccer, so I got like 4 associates. Wow. But then you also then have all these extra certifications in your field, your line of work. Okay. Yeah, and then I was just curious how it works. Ready to probably do a bachelor's degree, because just keep it going. And I was like, my work pays for it, so I mean, that's cool. It'd be dumb not to. So it was like, I went the route of less student loan debt. Yeah. No, for sure. Like, it's same with me. Like, I never got my master's because I was like, I'm still paying off my not anymore. But like, at the time, I was like, I'm still doing undergrad, paying off that. Like, but now, I mean, I've gotten extra certifications as well. But like, now I'm like, man, I should have, because there was a time where I paid to do that. And that's why I'm trying to do all these things that I want before kids. Yeah. Like, just try to get as much done. Not saying that I can't do it when I have kids, but life's not over, Mia, when you have kids, but I'm just kidding. No, but I mean, it is hard. Like, I look at my parents and I'm like, y'all are wild. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know how you guys did this. Like, they're insane.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it also, seeing them do that also, I think, made me be me. And, like, we never had those conversations of, you need to be a hard worker because blah, 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 blah. I just saw them do it.
Yeah.
They were always leading by example.
I love that.
And then my brother, extremely hard worker. And then husband, hard worker. And then I married it, like my in-laws, hard worker. And I was like, can somebody be lazy? Like, no, but I've surrounded myself around hardworking people.
Yeah.
But I'm also very grateful for it because it makes me have to keep pushing it. I mean, the bar just keeps going.
And being an athlete, are you competitive too? Well, if you can do that, I can do it too. So like, that's kind of how I am.
And that's the funny part is my husband, it stresses me out. He does not have a competitive bone in his body. And like, so we'll be playing pickleball and he was like, you're losing. And he knows it's going to bother me. But he was just like, you're so competitive. And I'm like, no, it's fine. I was like, it's not that bad. But then me and my brother, here we are.
Yeah.
I'm almost in my 30s and we're still
going at it.
Yeah. I'm like, okay, maybe it's just a little bit.
Yeah, it's so funny. Like, Mia, you're answering all my questions because I was like going to be like, it sounds like you had that example like growing up, and when you have someone that leads by example that's showing you like how to work hard. I mean, I see that in both you and Avery, 100%.
Actions speak louder than words.
Right.
I mean, it really, really does. And I mean, I remember because some people will be like, oh, like when they find out that they were in school growing up, I almost get like a pity, like, oh, that must have been really hard for you, just because like medical school is a lot.
Yeah.
But like looking back at it, like as an adult now, I'm like, there wasn't one time where I felt like my parents weren't present.
Right. Or where you went without her.
Right.
Yeah.
And I was like, I remember my dad showing up in scrubs and he's got the pager and like he's coming from the hospital just to watch a soccer game and then go right back. Like,
yeah.
Seeing them, it was like things like that kids remember.
Yeah.
They remember who's there.
Yeah.
And I always saw them work extremely hard.
Yeah. And if anything, they chose the harder. Like, I mean, they did it and they have created human beings that have grown up to be successful and like that work hard. I think that speaks volumes of who they are too. Wow. All right. So, I wanted to go back to, you hit on something earlier. You were talking about, when we were talking about a day in the life of what your life is like now. I remember going out for a girls' outing and we were sitting at dinner and I was like, Mia, tell me about, like, what time do you wake up in the morning? Because you were doing school at the time, right? Let's talk about this. You were doing school at the time. You were, I think, coaching at Rockbox at the time. Mm-hmm. Plus you were training like jiu-jitsu. I think at the time you were also talking about an MMA fight. This was like, and I just remember thinking, oh my gosh, when does this girl sleep? You were talking about doing hours at the hospital. Like, you were doing all these things, and correct me if I'm wrong, but like, I just remember thinking like, how does she have the energy to do this? I'm like, oh, well, she's in her 20s. That's why. That was my excuse. But,
my school schedule, wouldn't recommend.
And you were planning a wedding, I think, at the time too.
Yeah. So I'm trying to think. So my school schedule, I would wake up, get to my job to coach at 4:30.
Whoa.
Coach a couple classes, and then until about like 9 a.m. and then I'd go straight to class, like school, and then go do schoolwork, and then I would go to the hospital to work, and then I'd go to jiu-jitsu, and then go home.
Oh my.
So those days were long, but I mean, it was the end goal of it's gonna be worth it.
Yeah.
And definitely having a supportive partner cheering you on every step of the way.
Yeah.
I mean, like I couldn't have done it without my family. I couldn't have done it without my husband. I mean, there was a lot of tears of like, I can't do this anymore. Yes. So those are the times where you definitely have to lean on your support system.
Yeah.
And I'm I've never been good at like asking for help.
Yeah.
So definitely having a partner that is like, what can I like almost pulls it out of me. What can I do to help you, or what can I? What do you need? And being able, because I was scared, because when we first started dating, I wasn't in school. All of a sudden, I go back to school.
Yeah.
And to a very busy lifestyle, and then I'm going to the gym, and I know a lot of relationships maybe that wouldn't have been okay. And I've seen like some friends go through that, like their partner, I need more attention, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Dallas was my biggest cheerleader, and he was like, you go do what you need to do. I'm not going anywhere. And me being like a people pleaser, I definitely would have, if he would have been like, hey, like I need more attention, I think I would have done that. And I think I would have maybe given up on some goals for myself. So having him like make me put myself first was very, I mean, I couldn't have done it without that.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, that schedule
that was crazy. Yeah.
brutal.
Yeah. But I saw it from afar. So I saw what you were going through. But now you've hit all of these big like accomplishments, milestones, like, and now in hindsight it was all worth it, right?
Like it was nothing.
You're like, it was nothing. Oh my goodness.
Who needs sleep?
I think I saw something the other day that said, like the life you have today or where you're at today is what you were praying for years ago, right? Like you would have never thought like, oh, I'm going to get to this point.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes we just deal with like the days are very long, right? And it's exhausting
Long
and it's
days with
easy
short
to,
weeks.
right? Yeah. And it's like you sometimes think, why am I doing this? I should just stop what I'm doing. But I think that's when you're closer to reaching your goal, right? And that's when you got to push harder, I think. All right. So we've talked a little bit about like some of your challenges, maybe even some things you've gone through that were even kind of difficult. Like you talked a little bit about the COVID time, and then also like losing weight, and then like being an overachiever and getting all these certifications and things like that. But how would you define success? Because I see now like you've kind of hit like what you were working towards. So how would you define success? What does success look like to you? Because I know it's different for every single person.
Yeah. For me, I don't care what papers you got hanging on the wall, degrees, accomplishments, if you're not putting it back into the thing that you're doing. Like, for example, if I in this super good kickboxer jiu-jitsu, if I'm not helping the people on a trial start it, that's not success to me.
Yeah.
Unless I'm not helping students be the best that they can be. If I like, you're just one little seed that you need to grow, and let's grow this together.
Yeah.
Like for me, I would rather, like, it was so much more satisfying to watch like Valerie and Mina compete.
Yeah.
Like the first time, like as a white belt, like, because I know that's hard. That's hard trying something new as an adult, like being prideful, and it's hard. So if I can help be a part of that, I mean, that's what I think is successful.
Yeah.
Like, I think a perfect example is what Gordon Ryan's doing.
Yeah.
With, I mean, he's the best Noki grappler in the world.
Yeah.
I mean, he is the biggest name. But then now he's giving back, going to these military bases.
Yeah.
Like, that is, to me, way more success than any of his top tournament wins. Like,
yeah, for sure. And I remember like you and some of the other girls, like at the time Sam was at our gym and Stephanie, and I just remember all of you guys being so like helpful in the beginning, even though I would go home feeling defeated every night. But you guys, you like were great at teaching, showing me the moves, showing me the ropes. And I really feel like that's what kept me coming back.
Yeah.
And so I love that you said that answer. And that almost falls so nicely in line with what Ashley said too. So you can tell you guys are family, like all of you guys, right? Like Avery, her and Avery, and their vision for helping other people on the jiu-jitsu path, and just helping them kind of discover who they can be. Because I think when people start that sport, it's you don't really know where it's going to go.
I think I know how much, like I remember when Ashley kind of touched on it when she was here, how when I stopped playing, it was the lowest of lows I've ever I had never like really thought about like mental health, that aspect of losing your identity, feeling like and then when I was at my absolute low point is when I found the gym, and having those people pull you out of it and them not knowing that they are. Those unspoken, unseen battles of just, like, it's hard to put into words. Like, when I say, like, the gym truly saved my life, I 100% mean that. It put me in a better mental space, made me a better person. And to see, like, Avery in that aspect, see the things that he's doing, one, it makes me proud. I'm like, he's always been my big brother. And so it's really cool, like, how I've always seen him, other people get to see too. So that's really cool to see from my perspective. I can't hide it because it's recorded, but no, but I mean, he, everywhere that he went growing up, I wanted to be. My name was not Mia growing up. It was Avery's sister. That everybody, that's Ave's sister. There's big Ave's sister. That's Avery's sister. That's all it was. But it's cool because I never had a problem with that. So it's cool seeing him grow and expand and being there, seeing the beginning stages of it and seeing how many lives he's changing and knowing the impact of it is crazy. Because I went from doing a team sport my whole life, and yes, I was a part of a team, and then when I did an individual sport, and I always put like air quotes around individual, I've never felt more part of a team than I do with this. And I that was the biggest surprise, was how much I felt so supported. Even, these are the people that are beating me up. But I know. They're doing it because they want you to be better. And they're cheering for you. So it's cool to see this whole thing grow. Because when I started, like, it's even cool seeing, like, David, Chris. When I started, like, they were also, like, didn't know nothing, and seeing them, like, now coaching, and it's just wild. It's really, it's amazing to see, and
it's also cool to see too, like, the journey of other people, like, and knowing that they go through highs and lows too. And I think that's where the relationship builds, right? Like, there's also, I think we put an added pressure on ourselves, like, oh, if I compete, I have to win. But I also know that my team is still going to be there, and they're going to coach me through it. And there's just so much greatness with that. It's also cool to see how they handle their wins and losses. And just to see, like, you have, I admire all of our coaches at the gym, and I know they don't win every single match, but, like, they still get out there and do it, and they're still coaching, and that, I just think that's so admirable too. What's cool about Avery too, he's such a visionary too. He has such a passion to do what he's doing, and I think I heard him say the other day, he was like, I'm doing this the rest of my life. He's like, this is just amazing. And just knowing that
it was funny because somebody had asked me the other day, like, what would Avery be doing if he didn't in this gym? And I was like, I don't know. Like, he was born to do this. He so like we definitely growing up we were outside all the time. He has always been a leader. It was all the kids. Avery's always making up games. He was the one like running the show. No, guys, let's do this, and that's just always been his personality.
Yeah.
And it was like if Avery was at football practice or doing this or that, it's like the kids were like, "What do we do?" Like,
Yeah.
so they definitely always turned to him, and it's been really cool to just see that continue into being an adult.
Yeah. And then just even the, like, you can see, like, he's encouraging the boys, like, mostly Christian now because he's, like, older, but, like, Christian's involved in every sport you can think of, too. But, yeah, he's also at the gym all the time. And that, I just think it's amazing that they're working just as hard as, like, that same vision you had, like, with your parents, right? They're doing that same thing for their kids, working hard, doing a business at the same time, and just pushing the envelope, but at the same time, like, being there for their kids too. Like, because they're at the games too with their kids. They'll, like, fly somewhere, then come home, teach a class, then go here, then go there, go to games. It's insane. Like, but that's, I think it's motivating.
It's you don't realize the work of a small business owner until you see it firsthand.
Yeah.
And you don't ever clock in, clock out. I mean, you're always doing. There's something.
Yeah. Yeah, that's for sure. What would you say is a daily habit or something that you do that kind of helps keep you grounded or helps you get through the busyness or maybe even like the monotony of another day, right? Like if it can be like if you're on the go, what is something that just keeps you kind of grounded?
I have like a little thing that I do like when I get to work. I always like I will verbally say in my car before I get out like 3 things that I'm grateful for. Because I mean, I think it's a good habit to reflect on the positives because I think it's very easy to just surround yourself. Oh, traffic was terrible today. This person cut me off. And I just don't want to start my day angry like that. So if I can start it off like, hey, my family's healthy right now. Hey, I have a job. Like little things like that you really take for granted every day.
Yeah.
So that's my thing that I do. I definitely have always loved the saying, what are you doing today to be better tomorrow? So just always taking that extra step to set you up for success in the long run. To make it easier and better yourself tomorrow and then the next day and the next day and just keep it going. I don't like to be stagnant. I feel like when I don't have a goal, that's like when the anxiety sets in.
Yeah.
I have to be doing something at all times. But that I feel like keeps me sane.
Yeah. I feel like that's what attracts. We're all very like-minded people in this sport of jiu-jitsu. Here we go talking about jiu-jitsu. But because I feel like I'm that way too. As bogged down as I sometimes can get from all of the to-dos, I love a good to-do list.
Yeah. Oh,
It is my favorite. And when I get to check something off, it's amazing. And if it's not on my list, but I did something, I'll write it down just so I can check it off.
Yeah.
But it's people like you, though, that motivate me because, I mean, you are younger than me, but like when I see people like you, even in the career of teaching, let's say, come in, it's so refreshing to see, number one, the younger generation coming in to do such a difficult job, but that there are still people that want to do it. But it also drives me because you can become so complacent and stagnant after you've been in like your career for so long, right? Like I'm on year 19.
Yeah.
I think I said it before. I'm tired. But but then there is a part of me, and I think it's this competitive side of me. And it's funny because I wasn't an athlete growing up, but I am competitive. Maybe coming from a big family, I had to be.
Yeah.
But there is a part of me that like I see that and I'm like, well, I better step up my game because they're going to show me up. I don't want people showing me up. I feel that way with jiu-jitsu too. And I love all of you ladies, but like at the same time, it's like, I've got to do better. They're coming in hot.
It's a weird, like, unspoken, we're challenging each other.
Yes.
But while loving each other so much at the same time.
Yes.
Because I do think that sometimes, especially with an individual sport, you can get so competitive. I don't ever want to catch myself not wanting somebody else to not do good.
Right.
I don't ever want it to be like a catty,
Right.
negative. And I think that we're incredibly lucky that that isn't the case with our group of girls.
Yeah.
And to find a group that genuinely supports and is like so happy
Yeah.
when somebody does good,
Right.
is special. You can't. I mean, it's irreplaceable.
I find when if I'm ever getting to that point where I compare, like, and it's usually me talking more down on myself, right? Like, oh, so and so they just started and they're able to do that, you know, or whoa, they're coming in quick, or like, I find though that I have to kind of reorient myself and kind of be like, okay, but Bethany, your journey's your journey.
Yeah.
Like, they're also not living my life. They don't do the things I'm doing. They're in a different situation. All of us are coming from different places, different backgrounds, different careers. Maybe we have more flexibility in our schedule, maybe whatever it may be. And so I just have to remind myself of that. And sometimes I need Kevin to remind me of that too. Because I'll be like, oh my gosh, this happened and this happened. Or like, but again, it's admirable, and I look at these other girls as people to learn from. If anything, though, I'd rather be pushed, right? Yeah. Like, if that's going to make me step my game up because someone's coming in and they're doing great things, then that just encourages me to do better and do more. Now, and a lot of people can't handle that, though. I mean, in the rest of the world, I feel like sometimes, especially women, they can't handle knowing that someone might show them up. You know what I mean? Like,
for me, like, I don't want to be in a group of people, and I never want to feel like the smartest person in the room.
No, right.
Like, that sounds weird, but like I don't, because you match what you're surrounded with.
Yeah.
So if I have, now that's what's scary about the gym. Everybody has gotten so good. There's no rest rounds anymore. No. Kind of annoying, but
yeah, I know.
But it's the environment has completely shifted. And I'm like, and Avery has been saying it more and more lately, like, this room is getting good.
I mean, the kids program too.
That's scary. He's one bad day from like Lord of the Flies.
Right? Like, but like, okay, so like, I think my kids are good, but then you put them against even some other kids at the gym and it's like, whoa, it's like they're being held to it. Like, they have got to
when these kids turn 18, I'm retired.
I know. I think I told Pete, I was like, when Corey joins the adult class, I'm done. Like I mean, they are just so good. Yeah.
I mean, but like growing up though, like Avery did, I think he started like his martial arts career 15, 16-ish.
Yeah.
But I mean, jiu-jitsu wasn't really a thing. I mean, the only thing I knew people did like martial arts was karate, taekwondo.
Yeah.
That was about it.
Right.
I mean, Midwest wrestling, like that's the only grappling, but like I never knew any MMA gyms. So it's cool to see the sport grow.
Right.
I mean, especially when I started, I mean, I can count on one hand all the women that showed up.
Yeah.
And to see now, like, I don't think there's ever a class now consistently where there's not a female there.
Right.
And to see, even when you just look at like the registration for competitions, just seeing how many women have signed up.
Yeah.
Because my first competition, it was maybe like 5, 6.
Yeah, now it's...
So, but I would rather that because I'm like, I don't want to feel like the top dog. But then all of a sudden, I want somebody else to come in and humble me, be like, okay, we got to keep it going. I mean, that's the fuel to keep pushing yourself. Once you get stagnant and like complacent and start, there's a fine line of being confident and too confident.
Right. Yeah, for sure. Well, I'm trying to think, is there anything else that we haven't really touched on? I mentioned, pickleball. Let's talk about that. Did you start that first or Avery?
Oh, Avery.
Yeah. And Ashley plays. Yep. You play with them?
It's a family affair.
Does Dallas play?
Yeah, I got him into it.
Oh, yeah. You were saying like he'll be like, okay, yeah, because you said you can't lose. Just kidding. So do you like it? Is it?
I do. I mean, I'm not great at it. I'm definitely more comfortable now, like trying things that I know I'm not gonna be good at. Yeah. So it's cool, but I mean, it's definitely weird, like my brother being my coach for everything now.
Yeah.
Which is an interesting dynamic, I think.
Yeah.
If you asked me like 10 years ago, I would have been like, oh God, I can't have him coach me. Like, I gotta listen to this guy. Like, but when it's been a learning curve, but having him as a coach, it's you have to almost like drop the family wall and being like, I respect you as a coach.
Yeah.
But I think I also have like a safety net of like, especially when I've done like kickboxing fights, of being like, okay, he's gonna protect me. Like he's not gonna not gonna coach me like and tell me to put myself in a bad situation. So it's like I'm really leaning in to that. So it's a cool teeter-totter of like finding that balance.
Yeah, it's interesting that you bring up the family dynamic piece because like even so one thing I've noticed about the Guthards, we have a hard time sometimes hearing advice from each other because again, if anyone tries to, especially your family, right, if they give you advice, sometimes your first immediate reaction is to either you either don't want to hear it, you're closed off from it, you might I have a tendency to, if someone tries to correct me, you get defensive, right? Like, it immediately makes you feel either not smart or it makes you feel like you're doing something wrong. And it might just be the smallest tweaks, right? And the kids, I find, struggle sometimes with hearing coaching advice from Kevin or myself, and they immediately fight back. So what would you recommend? I mean, it's hard because it almost seems like they're uncoachable, but like, I know that's not the case. They would never do that to a coach. Right. Like Hannah's volleyball coach, she would never fight back. She would just listen and do it. Yeah. But with us, when we try to do that, it's a little more combative. So like, I mean, what would you say?
I definitely did that. Like with like my dad, like after a soccer game, he would like say this and that, or just be like, well, did you, like, he was never like really hard on me about it, but he was just like, well, do you think you could have done this? And I was like, okay, like I get it, but you do get defensive.
Right.
So I think that was the biggest hurdle to overcome with Avery coaching me. It's just, he's not picking on you.
Right.
He's talking to you like he would anybody else.
Yeah.
You might feel like he's being a little harder on you than other people, but I would rather that than him being easier on me. Right. I don't ever want like that handicap.
And is that something, I wonder, that comes with time? Like, I think so. The older you get?
Yeah, like, I think it took a lot for me to realize, hey, you don't have to be so defensive. They're not attacking you personally.
Right.
Like, they're not attacking your morals, your values. They're just, they're trying to help you. So, I mean, I even catch myself, like, on a bad day, Dallas will be like, hey, like, why'd you do it like that? And I'm like, because I do. And it's just like, it's just weird things like that. You're like, why did I get so angry? Like, I know he's not attacking me. And I know, like, my coach isn't telling me I suck at jiu-jitsu.
Right.
But I think you guys have a cool perspective, though, almost in the aspect of you guys are doing it, too. Which a lot of parents don't. Yeah. So I think you guys almost have an edge up to be able to be like, hey, we're doing it too. And especially starting it from ground zero. Yeah. Like, because you said you had no athletic background. I mean, to be like, I didn't do a sport growing up. Right. And I'm throwing myself in. I mean, you're going against these young 20s
I know.
that have, like, done this their whole life. And I mean, I think when your kids get older, looking back, I think it's gonna click, and they're gonna be like, "Dang, my mom's a badass." Yeah, like, and that's a really cool thing. Yeah. So it'll come.
I think that's the biggest thing. We just have to remember, kids are kids, and they're gonna be defensive. I mean, I see it in class on a daily basis too, especially if kids are high achieving or high performing in most areas. They have a really hard time taking any, like, constructive criticism. They immediately will put up a wall because no, I'm good at everything I do. Right. I think that was most of my conferences back in October. Your kid's awesome, but here's some things, and people aren't always receptive to that. But yeah, maybe just over time it'll come. But that's awesome that you have Avery there and he's in your corner, and it's also awesome that you support him and his endeavors as well. So that's awesome. Oh, so who inspires you? Okay,
He's
I think that
alright.
goes with that.
He's alright.
All right. So, are there any other goals or anything you are working toward that we should be on the lookout for in the future? I mean, I know, like you said, like tournaments. Sounds like maybe down the line you guys are gonna start a family.
Yeah, I'm still.
Okay. I don't want to
some
start
time.
rumors. I don't want to start rumors. I know it's only been a couple months of marriage, but
let us buy a house first.
yeah. Yeah. What do you guys have any like big goals or any plans in the near future?
I'm gonna start looking seriously for houses probably in the fall. Hoping the housing market calms down a little bit.
Yes. And are you planning on moving
I'm trying to
down?
get us back to South Carolina.
Come on down to South Carolina. Come on, Dallas, South Carolina.
Come on down.
That's where it's at.
I know every house he sends me on Zillow, I'm like, Google Maps. Try and find Academy. How far away? I'm like, that's 35 minutes. Can I do that?
That's so funny. So mostly establishing.
Yeah.
I mean, your married life, yes.
Yeah, trying to embrace the change.
Yeah.
Because it's been a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, moving, new job, graduating, married. Was a lot in a year.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, that's some.
So I'm like, I'm trying to be okay with being a little bored.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like we've had a couple weekends now that we haven't had anything. And I'm like, all right, what are we doing?
Yeah.
And Dallas is like, no, let's chill.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, that's weird.
Especially since you've been so back to back with everything.
So just trying to find the new normal.
Yeah. Well, I'm so happy that you've just accomplished all those big goals in the very short time. I'm also proud that like I've known you through all those. Like I basically have known you through the bulk of that.
Yeah,
Wow. I
still remember you showing up in your pink gi.
I hardly ever wear that now.
I know. My husband bought it for me.
You know what's funny?
It's so funny.
He bought it like earlier, I think, when he had started. And then I think I had it for like a year. Yeah, I think I had the gi for like a year. And then it was finally like the kids started before I did. And then I was like, okay. I think I got peer pressured into it by like Stephanie. Stephanie said something to me and Avery. I was like, oh, this is pretty girl. She's doing it. I should do it. You guys all sucked me in.
Like now it's like we look during the kids class. We're like, all right, which mom's next?
I know. I do it too.
Who's next on the hit list?
Yeah, I do it too. I try to get. Everyone I talk to, I talk about it. Our whole family does. Like it comes up all the time at school.
We see you looking at the class.
I know. All the time. And there's just something about it that people just want to keep coming back. Win or lose. All right. Well, Mia, if you don't have anything else you want to share, is there anything else that's pressing that was on your heart?
We covered it all.
Okay. Well, if there's nothing else, I think I'm going to close this up for now. I did want to say to everyone that is listening, if you would love to support us, we have just released brand new Gunz Bunz merch. Yes, I have merch, ladies and gentlemen. But we have things from like t-shirts, stickers. We have
cute little visor.
Rash guards. Yeah, I got a visor. Maybe I'll sport it on the show sometime. But we've got a lot of cute merch for Gunz Bunz. But you can find that at gunzandrolls.com. And then finally, I would love to invite you to just share this podcast with someone that you think would like it. And if you could subscribe to Gunz and Rolls, you'll get to see more Gunz and Bunz episodes like this one. But for now, I just want to thank Mia. Love you. Thanks for coming. And I appreciate you. So thanks so much for tuning in, guys. And we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.